If you'd like to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button to stay on top of the market news. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMtrading. Today's August 5th, 2020, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, gold breaks out to new record highs, breaking that resistance at 2000-ish level. But first, let's take a look at the economic events of the day. So looking at the economic events of the day, only one event scheduled for 4 p.m. South African time out of the United States. It's an ISM non-manufacturing PMI number coming out. It's a service sector number coming out, so it is very important. And then just to remind you guys, Friday we have NFP coming out of the United States. So you do want to know that that is still on the horizon. But first, looking at the sectors. In terms of the South African Rand, it continues to weaken, breaking that resistance, while all the majors kind of get stronger versus the dollar. And we're going to take a look at that as well. Looking at the indices, the Dow Jones gained some momentum on the upside, while the NASDAQ is really looking to break out to record highs. We're going to take a look at that as well. And looking at the commodities, obviously gold breaking to record highs, while oil remains in a very tight range and steady, I would say. And lastly, looking at the stocks, Apple sustains that upper limit, not really selling off after it had that massive gap up. And Alcoa is looking even better today to break out on the upside as well. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're taking a look here at the Euro USD at a 4-hour chart, and you can see pretty much we're consolidating here. And yesterday we sold off down to the 729-ish level and then bouncing above that resistance-ish level at 1760. So in all fairness, this is kind of a choppy area that we're finding ourselves. Okay, so you're going to have to look for clues. And the way you look for clues is comparing it to the other major symbols. So let's jump into the GBP USD. Yesterday, it was an interesting day for the GBP USD because it had a V formation intraday. Okay, it sold off quite sharply and then made that upward correction. Okay, all in one day, 100 pip massive move yesterday. So it is, for all intents and purposes, really struggling to break above that 131-ish level, just shy of it. And if it does break the upside, then we could definitely see continued strength, maybe back to this 3167-ish level. So something to keep on the radar as today unfolds. Now looking at the Aussie dollar, same story. Did sell off quite aggressively yesterday, but did make that comeback as well. What's not so cool is that the USD Rand is actually getting weaker here. When the dollar is getting weaker versus all the other currencies, and the Rand is getting weaker versus the USD, then that raises a flag. Now we are hugging this 1748, just shy of it. Okay, now we did break that downwards momentum as we spoke about yesterday. Actually took off that downwards trend line. And you could see pretty much that we've broken it and then some. Okay, so we're at that 1732 right now, just shy of our resistance at 1748. So this may be a point that we actually retrace. So keep a distance from this, but keep a respective distance from it, as this may actually retrace later today. Now looking at the gold. Now this is really the one. And we mentioned it yesterday, hugging this 1979 resistance-ish level and then breaking that 2000 and capitulating to 2032, excuse me, and then making that correction. Now this is all-time highs, okay? All-time highs. So really very important to highlight this because this is really very momentous, okay? Very historic, very momentous. You were there with me here on August 5th when gold broke to all-time record highs above 2000. Okay, so really important that that's happening. Now looking at the Dow Jones, 26,788, just shy of that 26,800-ish level. We do have resistance at 27,000. So keep that in mind, as this may further continue to rally into the end of the week in anticipation of the NFP. Now looking at the NASDAQ. Now this is really looking to hug this upper limit and to break out further today. It really looks like that. Looked at 11,000, above that 11,100-ish level, and it is making all-time highs. But to really have a gusto, we have to look for something like what happened with gold. Okay, for it to be a 300, 200 move on the upside. So it still may happen, because if we look at Apple computers and look at the stock, it's sustaining itself. It's really very strong at 436, not really retracing after that gap up. So this may be the catalyst that's actually going to take us higher. Amazon's still relatively strong as well, as it's also forming a wedge formation here. That's the area of the wedge. Let's just draw it up right there. That would be the wedge formation. So that looks actually very bullish as we look to have this actually break out possibly later today. Now looking at Facebook, also relatively strong, kind of like a little bit of a sell-off, but this would really be a point for it to actually tick higher. Microsoft as well, relatively strong, not breaking out above that 215-ish level, but like I said, at a point where it could really, make a turn and take that 215 on the upside as well. So something to keep your radar today. Now, lastly, looking at Alcoa, why I like this even better is because you see that it's hugging that resistance level, and it's hugging it with a candle, not just a wick. So that's really making it very important to possibly break out on the upside. So again, a lot of possibilities today. Let's see if that number, that ISM non-manufacturing PMI number, comes out positive, and we could possibly go up higher as well. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.